Hey, Danny's, it's me.
Well, that sucks. Welcome back, I guess. I don't really know what happened. We are here. We are back. There you go. I don't know what else to say. I have no idea what happened. It just went away. It just said that the stream link, blah, 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 had ended and it could not connect. I had to reboot, I guess. Anyways, I was in the middle of saying we should not be relieving sanctions on Syria. The leader of Syria is a horrible person who I probably personally fought in Iraq. There you go. He's a horrible person for many reasons, committing war crimes, doing horrible things. And he literally fought us in Iraq. And that was our biggest enemy when I was there, was Al-Qaeda in Iraq. And he rose to the ranks there. He is a war fighter turned dictator turned president. But Trump fawns over all dictators. It's a weird thing to do. All right, back to the video.
Leader of the country, and he's got a strong past. I'll be very nice. He's got a strong past, but
a strong past.
Him a lot. I think he'll be a great representative, and we'll see. You're going to have a strong past to put that one around. You cannot be a weak person. If you're a weak person, we would just be wasting time. So he's a strong guy, and I thought he was good, and let's see what happens. But we're going to give him a fighting chance by taking off the sanctions. So we've actually been praised for that. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia was very strong. Please do that. He wanted it done.
So under his leadership, there was war crimes, suicide bombings, forced conversions, where they hold a gun to your head, tell you to convert to Islam or die, ethnic cleansings, massacres. Like he's a horrible, horrible piece of shit, right? We're relieving sanctions from them.
The president of Turkey wanted it done. President Erdogan called me, said, is there any way you could do that? Because if you don't do that, they don't have a chance. And so I did it, and it's actually been very popular. The Emir liked it a lot. It's been very, very popular. So let's see what happens, but it's my honor to have done it. And with that, we're surrounded by some of the greatest business people in the world. We just had a tremendous order of Boeing. This is Boeing, and this is General Electric. And General Electric, I hear, makes the best large airplane engine in the world by not even a contest. Maybe I'll have to change my engines one day on my plane because they're not General Electric. But, it's one of those things. But I hear you make the best engines in the world, Larry. Larry's somehow his people at General Electric. First of all, it's one of the greatest turnarounds that you'll ever see in a company, because when you took it over, it was, I want to be respectful, General Electric was in trouble, to put it, I would say, right, to put it mildly. And now it's a hot company doing great, and it's, I would imagine the hottest thing is what's happened with the engine division, because this engine is incredible. Would you like to say a couple of words, Larry, about that? Because he watches, when he sees Boeing, he's very excited because he supplies, I guess, for the most part, the engines. Would you like to say something?
Sure. Well, Mr. President, thank you. And
Trump's plane actually has Rolls-Royce engines. I know nobody needs to know that, but there you go. It has Rolls-Royce engines, unless you're an aviation nerd.
It's an honor to be here. We're thrilled about the commitment that Qatar Airways has made to both Boeing and GE Aerospace with the largest wide-body order really in our company's history. Over 400 engines, both our GE NX, which powers the 787, the fastest selling high-thrust engine in history, and our new 9X will power the 777X, which will be the largest commercial engine in the world.
Will that be the same engine other than size, or is it different?
It's a step forward and a generation forward as well.
So even beyond
yes,
the large one.
Buying an airplane's not like buying a car. So Boeing builds a plane and you have engine choice. It's the same thing when you get like the big trucks too, right? When you get like tractor trailers or dump trucks or even like 550s, 650s. You pick your engine or whatever.
Very much
That's
so.
Great.
It hasn't got bad yet. It gets bad. Just wait for it.
And we think that really helps both Boeing and GE Aerospace continue to support not only our investment in domestic manufacturing, but in turn everything that we're doing to drive the $75 billion annual trade surplus that the aerospace industry enjoys in the U.S. today. So we're excited. I know Kelly and the Boeing team have been great partners. But Bader, our thanks to you for your trust and your commitment to both GE Aerospace and Boeing. We're gratified.
Yeah, thank you very much. Kelly, go ahead, please.
Well, Mr. President, first of all, thank you for your support. This is a major order for us. All of these aircraft will be built in the United States, creating a significant number of jobs, and I know that's a key mission of yours.
I used to work for GE. I wish I could still do that. Like if I wasn't struggling so much with my PTSD and stuff, that you guys would probably never know me, and that's what I would be doing.
And this order will help us accomplish that. Partnership with GE has been great. They do power exclusively our engines, and they're doing a great job here. And we're very pleased to be selected by Qatar for this largest wide-body aircraft order in the history of Boeing. Major accomplishment for us, and thanks to the administration for your support.
By the way, we'll talk about it in just a second, and I've got a video on it. Trump is just lying about the deals he's making in the Middle East. The current deal he claims he's made with Qatar on their current exports they get from the United States. Let's say they export or import this same amount of exports from the United States. It would take them 316 years. It takes like 7 of their GDP, what they claim they're going to invest. Like we're just lying about deals. He did this the first time around, lied about a bunch of Saudi Arabia deals, just threw up gigantic $1 trillion numbers, and they never fulfilled those, right? $1.2 trillion mega deal, but he's just lying.
The largest order you've ever had, right?
Yeah, for wide body.
So one of the largest orders in history, but it almost has to be, if it's the largest order you've had, has to be pretty close to the largest order ever made, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you also, Boeing also got the jet fighter. We selected Boeing for the jet fighter, the state-of-the-art, the highest level. It's an amazing...
Oh, you think he's talking about the F-47, the new jet fighter that he just recently commissioned? No. He's not. They're commissioning 2, the F-47 and the F-55. No one even knows what the F-47 will be, and now we're talking about the F-45. Or F-55, I'm sorry. He just says things.
looking plane. If it functions as well as it looks, I think we're going to have a big winner. But we're also looking at some additional jet fighters. We have some really good ones that we have. We're taking a look at, strong look from one of your competitors.
A strong look.
We're doing something very special, but it's a special country. We were losing the Middle East because the past administration.
All right. Here's where I want you to start paying attention. He's going to start talking about Joe Biden couldn't even stand up. Listen how far off track he gets. It's supposed to be about an order for wide-body aircraft from Boeing with GE power, a large order of American-made aircraft. Watch.
Handle the relationship properly. Didn't show the kind of respect that they deserve. And me, I have a lot of respect and I have a lot of liking. I like the Crown Prince a lot.
I have a lot of respect, I have a lot of liking, and I like the Crown Prince a lot.
I've known him a long time in Saudi Arabia, and the Emir is fantastic. And we're going to another country in a little while, the UAE. It's a fantastic man, fantastic leader. And they have great leadership talents in this part of the world, and that's why they're doing so well. And you probably read today the story.
That's kind of on topic, right? Leaderships.
Story about Iran has sort of agreed to the terms. They're not going to make, I call it in a friendly way, nuclear dust. We're not going to be making any nuclear dust in Iran, and we've been strong. I want them to succeed. I want them to end up being a great country, frankly, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. That's the only thing. It's very simple.
No one knows what this means. Has sorta agreed to. No one knows what this means.
It's not like I have to give you 30 pages worth of details. There's only one sentence. They can't have a nuclear weapon. And I think we're getting close to maybe doing a deal without having to do this. There's two steps. There's a very, very nice step, and there's a violent step. The violence like people haven't seen before. And I hope we're not going to have to do this. I don't want to do the second step. Some people do. Many people do. I don't want to do that step. So we'll see what happens. But we're in very serious negotiations with Iran for long-term peace. And if we do that, it'll be fantastic. And for this country in particular, because you're right next door, you're a stone's throw away, not even, right? You're a foot away. You can walk right into Iran. Other countries are much further away, so probably it's...
Okay. By the way, the deal that Trump is asking Iran to do, what they're pushing for right now, is to stop enriching uranium. And any enriched uranium you have, you need to bring it back down to the 3.75% purity level, which is acceptable for like power stations, blah, 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 but not for weapons, right? That's what they want to push. At least 3 years to build trust. And then the 3.75 purity level of your currently enriched uranium. What deal does that sound like? That was Obama's deal. It's 100% Obama's deal. Obama's deal was we'll relieve the sanctions, open it back up to the world, return the money that we seized from you. Just go back to 3.75% uranium enrichment. And then Trump left that deal in 2018. He breaks shit to fix it and then say, look what I fixed for you guys.
It's not quite the same level of danger, but we are going to protect this country. It's a very
Stay with him.
place with a special royal family. And
we're going to protect this country. He's not talking about the U.S. He's not talking about the U.S. Qatar.
The head of the royal family is two heads of the royal.
He's in Doha.
family, really, if you think. It's great people. And they're going to be protected by the United States of America. And I think we're not going to have to do it because I believe very strongly in peace through strength. Now, we just gave out in the budget a $1 trillion budget, which is the biggest we've ever done. $1 trillion, never came close to a number like that. We'd be at 800. It would be at 800 billion, would be at maybe 900, 910. We never got anywhere close to $1 trillion, but we're doing it. Hopefully, we will not have to use these weapons. We make the greatest weapons in the world. We make the greatest fighter jets. We make the greatest, I guess Larry would know better than anybody, but we make the greatest planes in the world, the greatest missiles. And
he's sort of on topic, right? A little bit, maybe. Right, he's talking about at least stuff that we make right now.
Defense systems, the Patriot system is the best acknowledged to be. I mean, this isn't from me, and we have a lot of it now. It's under order, and we're coming up with new systems, and we're coming up with a new system of drones, because drones are really, if you look at the war that's going on, it's horrible, but we
okay, drones
very closely, and drones really seem to be taking over that war. And so I hope you're going to come up with some nice, inexpensive engine for a drone so that we don't have to spend so much. I asked one of the companies, I said, I want a lot of drones. And, you know, in the case of Iran, they make a good drone. And they make them for $35,000, $40,000. So I said to this company, I want to see it. They came in 2 weeks later with a drone that cost $41 million. I said, that's not what I'm talking about, $41 million. I'm talking about something for $35,000, $40,000 where you send thousands of them up. And that's a great way. And they're very good, too, and fast and deadly. Horrible, actually. When you look at what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, the drone is killing tremendous numbers of people. You hide behind a tree and the drone comes down and it circles you with fire. You don't have a chance. The tree comes down also, by the way. It's so intense. I mean, you see these trees.
The tree comes down also, by the way.
Trees being knocked down like they're being sawed down by a top-of-the-line timberman, like you know who? Sean Duffy. Do you know that Sean Duffy, the head of the Transportation Department, who's working right now on the airports and getting a system because Biden didn't do a thing for 4 years, and Pete Buttigieg was the head, and he goes bicycling to work. He takes a bicycle to work. Can you believe he's running the biggest air system in the world, and he takes a bicycle to work? What a...
Who is laughing in the background, and what the fuck does this have to do with anything? He's the head of the largest air system in the world, and he rides a bicycle to work. Okay. What?
And they say he's going to run for president. I don't see it. Who knows, right? But I don't see it. But when I look at what they've done, is so horrible what they've done. And the work they did do, they wasted billions of dollars. They tried to hook up air systems to copper, and they tried to hook up copper to glass, and the glass doesn't work with the copper. And
They're trying to hook up copper to glass and glass to copper, and the copper doesn't work with the glass. He's trying to talk about fiber optics. And they're still trying to kill Verizon's contract that they have to upgrade the system for the airports, right? For the air traffic controllers. And you'll see he sticks it in here in a second. He's like, they're trying to hook up copper to glass. Our old system's all copper wire, and they want to go with fiber optic. Fiber optic is faster. You can send a whole lot more data down the line, blah, blah, blah. It's better, right? They want to upgrade to fiber optic. They're not trying to hook up copper to glass, whatever the fuck that means. They want to upgrade the entire system fiber optic, which is the way it should be, hardwired fiber optic. He lets it slip in a minute, like copper and glass, and they don't work together, and some people want to do satellite. We're doing satellites. That's what we're doing. He's trying to give that contract to Starlink. But there's a new player in the game. Do you guys know that Amazon's getting ready to launch their satellite-based internet system, right? And honestly, I think they will destroy Starlink if they do it right, okay? If they roll it in to your Prime subscription and do it right, they will destroy Starlink. But either way, Trump's trying to get this contract away from Verizon and give it to his buddies.
Who knows, right? But I don't see it. But when I look at what they've done, is so horrible what they've done. And the work they did do, they wasted billions of dollars. They tried to hook up air systems to copper, and they tried to hook up copper to glass, and the glass doesn't work with the copper. And they had 30,000 different contractors doing 30,000 jobs. And when they put it all together, they spent billions of dollars.
There is no fucking... Imagine a job as large as... I don't know if you guys have ever been on big jobs. Like, that's what I did when we did shutdowns. I would go out of town, the whole goddamn plant would shut down, and we would fix everything that's ever been wrong with the plant. We would do regular scheduled maintenance, anything that had been reported, stuff that they had been waiting sometimes years to fix. It would be time to fix it there. All these inspections just to make sure that everything shuts down. Imagine a job as large as updating the entire infrastructure system for air traffic controllers everywhere in the United States, and then tell me you're going to do it with a single contractor with no subcontractors. There's no fucking way, dude. Imagine remodeling a house nowadays with no subcontractors. It's just, it doesn't work like that. People specialize in one area. So, of course, Verizon is going to have other contractors, and contractors sometimes cause delays. Sometimes it's the truth that, like, Verizon's ready to go with this piece, but that subcontractor had some trouble doing this, and there's a delay. But I do not think we should just give this contract to Starlink. Verizon has not missed any deadline. They're not late. They haven't, like, their system hasn't failed in some way. Like, they're still in the process of rolling it out. And Trump's already bad-mouthing them so much that the public perception is they can't do the job. Oh, we better give it to Elon because we've wasted all this money and it's not going to work now. That's what he's trying to do. It's his old theory of if you repeat a lie enough, people will start to believe it.
And the glass doesn't work with the copper, and they had 30,000 different contractors doing 30,000 jobs. And when they put it all together, they spent billions of dollars. It didn't even come close to working, and we're going to be giving out a break.
They haven't even tried it yet. Their system isn't even complete. So he says the same thing Musk said, or tried to say, that when they put it all together, it didn't even work. They're not even scheduled to have a completed prototype for years from now, right? It's that big a job. And not to mention, it's such a critical job that the old system has to be continuously running when the new system comes online, and there's probably going to be overlap of at least probably 6 months that both systems have to run simultaneously. The air traffic controllers will be working off the new system, the Verizon system, but if anything goes wrong with that system, they'll have to have the old system. You never know. It's something new we haven't done before. Our system was built back in the fucking 70s, right? I would even say, depending on the cost to maintain the old system should always be in place. And air traffic controllers should be trained on both, the legacy system plus the current system. That way, if anything ever happens to the new system, we already have a system setting there that we can just fire up and be like, okay, well, at least we can land these planes until, I don't know, maybe it's billions of dollars of upkeep to do it. But if it's not, if it's even slightly within reason to keep the old system up, I say maintain them both. That's such a critical area. And almost all crashes happen within takeoff and landing. Like, they should be trained on both systems. They should have some redundancy built in. But anyways, they're trying their hardest to get it taken away from Verizon and given to Elon Musk because it's a huge contract.
brand new system is very important. We'll have the best system, and we think we know who that system is. But we have a lot of bidding. But we want one check. We want a unified system. We don't have 5,000 contractors in all different places. Some digging ditches and some not doing ditches because they want to go by satellite. The satellite seems to be.
Excuse me? Amazon's version of the satellite internet is called Kuiper. Like K-Y-P-E-R, but it's spelled K-U-I, Kuiper. Satellite. First of all, Verizon's not going to dig ditches no more than Elon Musk is going to dig ditches. They're going to subcontract a company to dig ditches.
5,000 contractors in all different places, some digging ditches and some not doing ditches because they want to go by satellite. The satellite seems to be the way to go. But so we're going to be giving that out pretty soon. But what people don't know about Sean, because I mentioned lumberjacks, that
we can't wait. It's needed now.
Sean used to be the way to go.
Okay.
But so we're going to be giving that out pretty soon. But what people don't know about
So he got started on all of this because he was trying to talk about Sean Duffy. And now we're back to Sean Duffy again, okay?
not doing ditches because they want to go by satellite. The satellite seems to be the way to go. But so we're going to be giving that out pretty soon. But what people don't know about Sean, because I mentioned lumberjacks, that Sean, you probably didn't know this, that I'm not talking.
You mentioned lumberjacks? When the fuck did he mention lumberjacks?
Actors in all different places, some digging ditches and some not doing ditches because they want to go by satellite. The satellite seems to be the way to go. But so we're going to be giving that out pretty soon. But what people don't know about Sean, because I mentioned lumberjacks, that Sean, you probably didn't know this, that I'm not talking about this Sean. This Sean, no, this is a different Sean. Sean Duffy, the head of transportation. He's a great Sean, though, I have to tell you. But Sean Duffy was the world champion for 5 years, climbing trees and down, up and down, world champion. So that's what you call a serious lumberjack. And he's doing a fantastic job, too, really.
So Sean Duffy was a lumberjack sports competitor where they go out and do lumberjack games. Right, this has never been his job. He's a lumberjack athlete. But why the fuck are you telling these people?
5 years, climbing trees and Sean Duffy, the head of transportation. He's a great Sean, though, I have to tell you. But Sean Duffy was the world champion for 5 years, climbing trees and down, up and down, world champion. So that's what you call a serious lumberjack. And he's doing a fantastic job, too. A really respected guy and a terrific guy. And I mentioned the champion because when somebody's a champion, he's the world champion for a long time. He came down, when you come down those trees, coming down at a rapid, he said that started getting you back. You will often break your back.
What?
Doing a fantastic job, too. A really respected guy and a terrific guy. And I mentioned the champion because when somebody's a champion, he's the world champion for a long time. He came down, when you come down those trees, coming down at a rapid, he said that started getting you back. You will often break your back. You miss a shot and you're coming down a lot faster than the human body was meant to come down. But he's doing a fantastic job at transportation. But this has been a very historic trip. I watched some of the people talking about it.
Sean Duffy was a reality TV star. You guys know he was on Real World Boston, right? And what was the other one? Road Rules. He actually met his wife on Road Rules, All Stars or some shit. But again, why are you telling these guys? And he was coming down those trees, and you come down so fast, and then you're back, and you're like, you don't know, but that's for your back. What the fuck are you talking about?
And even what I would perceive as enemies of ours, people that are not fair from the press, are saying it's been amazing. We've raised trillions
Enemies of ours. People that are not fair to me from the press are enemies of ours.
of dollars in investments. There's never been anything like it. And just to finish, we have a country that now has, I think, Howard, we can say that at least $10 trillion of investment and potential investment. And if the past administration did $500 billion, it was like a lot, but we did it in 2 months. Because it's actually a little more than 3 months, but I always say the first month I had to get a little bit acclimated, so I didn't really do this the first
Acclimated.
started. So we've really been doing it, Susie, right, for 2 months. So in 2 months we're going to have over $10 trillion. Nobody's ever come close. No country's ever come close to that. No country. And I want to thank the Emir because he put up a lot, and in terms of investment, it could amount to 2 million, 3 million, maybe even 4 million jobs in the United States. And more importantly, it's really important stuff. It's tremendous refining capabilities. It's capabilities for very high-end. AI is a big subject, and it's a big subject over here, too. I always say, what are you investing in? It seems one thing everybody seems to have in common is AI. So I don't know if that's a good thing or bad. Maybe you shouldn't do it because too many people are doing it, or maybe you should follow the crowd, fellas, okay? So you're going to figure it out. We have a man who's here who has been unbelievable, Scott Bessent, who's our Secretary of the Treasury, and who's so respected when he speaks on television. It's like everyone just says, oh, okay. I had somebody the other day said, well,
He's so respected when he speaks on TV. People just say, oh, okay.
Scott Bessent said, I said, well, that's pretty good, Scott. You know? So I'm a believer. I'm a believer. But when he speaks, the markets really listen. And the big thing is that we have, to me, the most important thing of all is that, forget about the recent stock market being so good. Much more importantly, we have hundreds of different big companies pouring into America now, creating jobs like we've never seen before. Now, the bad news, it takes a little while for that to, when you build your factory and it takes a year and a half, 2 years, and they're going to build them very fast, and they don't need financing. That's the nice part. They don't need any financing. They have plenty of it. But they're building factories at levels we've never seen.
Do you think Trump is so dumb that he thinks that businesses only use financing when they don't have capital? When they don't have cash? I mean, someone probably runs his books. But obviously they get loans too when they have cash. Well, that's so simple-minded. To be the greatest businessman in the world, that's so fucking simple-minded. Obviously, they'll invest their cash somewhere and take a 0% loan for a couple stock options in the company. You know what I'm saying? Like, this so simple.
Creating jobs like we've never seen before.
They don't need financing.
A little while for that to, when you...
They don't need it.
It takes
they got a lot of it.
Years, and they're going to build them very fast, and they don't need financing. That's the nice part. They don't need any financing. They have plenty of it. But they're building factories at levels we've never seen anything like it. And these are, 10 billion, 12 billion, 50 billion. I said, how do you spend 50 billion on a factory? We have the chip companies coming in from Taiwan. We have Jensen, as you know, coming in with 600 billion. We have actually the biggest company of them all. You know all about it. Coming in. That was a big Mr. Wei. I said, Mr. Wei, you're a smart man, aren't you? I never met him. And I said, because I understand you control 99% of the chips. Oh, yes, I do. I said, that's pretty good. I said, is there any way of breaking that grip? They said it would take you many years. So I said, you know what? If you can't beat him, you join him. But he's going to be building the biggest factory anywhere in the world in Arizona and spending over $200 billion. And we have Apple, as you
So he couldn't remember NVIDIA, I guess. He couldn't remember the name NVIDIA. So he's like, the biggest company in the world. You got Jensen and Mr. Hui. Mr. Hui.
You know, it's building the biggest, actually the biggest, he's coming in from Taiwan. We have Jensen, as you know, coming in with $600 billion. We have actually the biggest company of them all. You know all about it. Coming in, that was a big Mr. Wei. I said, Mr. Wei, you're a smart man, aren't you? I never met him. And I said, because I understand you control 99% of the chips. Oh, yes, I do. I said, that's pretty good. I said, is there any way of breaking that grip? They said it would take you many years. So I said, you know what? If you can't beat him, you join him. But he's going to be building the biggest factory anywhere in the world in Arizona and spending over $200 billion. And we have Apple, as you know, is coming in. And I had a little problem with Tim Cook yesterday. I said to him, Tim, you're my friend. I treated you very good. You're coming in with $500 billion, but now I hear you're building all over India. I don't want you building in India. You can build in India if you want to take care of India, because India is one of the highest tariff nations in the world. It's very hard to...
I guess he's talking about TSMC. I don't know. As the other chip company is... Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, whatever. Who the fuck knows? Mr. Wei, you're bringing all your chips with you? Like a whole bag of potato chips. I tell ya, once you get into the chips, you pop and you can't stop.
Sell into India. And they've offered us a deal where basically they're willing to literally charge us no tariff. So we go from the highest tariff, you couldn't do business in India. We're not even a top 30 in India because the tariff is so high, to a point where they have actually told us, I assume you too, Scott, you were working on that also, that there will be no tariff, right? Would you say that's a difference? They're the highest, and now they're saying no tariff. But I said to Tim, Tim, look, we've treated you really good. We put up with all the plants that you built in China for years. Now you got to build us. We're not interested in you building in India. India can take care of themselves. They're doing very well. We want you to build here, and they're going to be upping their production in the United States. Apple. So Apple's already in for $500 billion, but they're going to be upping their production. So it'll be great. So I really think we have, we've gone from a laughing stock 6 months ago to the hottest country anywhere in the world. And that's not just in business, that's in everything else, and it's psychologically hot too. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank the media. The media, I have to say, has been very fair. They've been very fair. They've been terrific, actually. I was watching some of our, normally they would not say good things, but they're having a hard time saying bad because this is a record tour. There's never been a tour that will raise, it could be a total of $3.5–4 trillion. This just in this 4 or 5 days, and it's from great people. And our relationship now is very strong with Saudi Arabia. Nobody's going to be bothering that relationship. Nobody would be able to break that relationship because of my relationship with the Crown Prince and the family. The relationship is really strong, and when
in 2019. India put tariffs on 28 products from the U.S. because the U.S. removed India from Generalized System of Preferences, the GSP, and refused to discontinue a 2018, also Trump steel an aluminum tariff. So the only reason that India has tariffs on the U.S. is because of Trump in his first term. Apple is not, it doesn't seem they're going to be producing any phones here. It seems like what they're doing is investing in an AI data center here
you talk about Qatar, the relationship is equal. I mean, it's just like nobody's going to break that relationship. We have never had a relationship with Qatar as strong as it is now. You know that better than anybody. They're very happy, and we're going to protect you. We're going to protect you. That's the one thing you need, maybe. But I don't think you're going to need too much of that. And I said last night, it was a great meeting, great everything. They brought in Lee Greenwood to sing. It was a beautiful.
The India had an average of 17% tariff pre-Trump. That was after they raised them because they were pissed about the steel and aluminum deal. Like, I don't understand any of this.
It was a beautiful. Never had a relationship with Qatar as strong as it is now. You know that better than anybody. They're very happy, and we're going to protect you. We're going to protect you. That's the one thing you need, maybe. But I don't think you're going to need too much of that. And I said last night, it was a great meeting, great everything. They brought in Lee Greenwood to sing. It was a beautiful evening, and I appreciate it. But I said last night that Iran is very lucky to have the emir. Because he's actually fighting for them. He doesn't want us to do a vicious blow.
I think in 2016, Trump called them out and said they support terrorists. They're a terrorist supporting country, Hamas, and all these other ones. Himself.
To Iran, he says, you can make a deal, you can make a deal. He's really fighting, and I really mean this. I think that Iran should say a big thank you to the emir, because the emir is fighting very much that we don't. And there are many people that want me to go the other route. They say just knock it out, because nobody can beat us. We have the strongest military in the world by far. Not China, not Russia, not anybody. We have the best military
Not anybody.
in the world, and we have the strongest military in the world. If you remember ISIS, General Raisin Kane, right? We knocked it out in 3 weeks. Remember they said it would take 4 years to knock out ISIS? We did it in 3 weeks. That's because you had the right leader. With a stupid person,
No, he didn't.
you'll do it in 4 or 5 years. You won't even do it. You'll fight for 4 years and then you'll leave, like we always do. You fight. We had a president that blew up half the Middle East and then he left. That was it, It was like spent $10 trillion on blowing up the Middle East and then he left. Just said, let's leave now. You were left with nothing. And we don't do that. We take care of our friends. And so you have a great ally in us, and there's nobody even close. In terms of military power, there's nobody close. And I'm not only talking about nuclear. I don't like to mention the word because the nuclear is so destructive that it brings you into a different category. But we're number one in nuclear. I rebuilt our military, by the way, in my first term. We had a really successful first term. Then the election was rigged, and I had to wait, and it became more historic, and I was able to watch and see. And the good news is although it's bad news in another way, but the good news is that Biden was so bad, worst president we've ever had by far. There was never a president like this. This man was grossly incompetent, and now that's been proven. But people were able to see how bad it is, and it gave me a
Imagine being the other guys at this table just fucking sitting there.
mandate. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by a lot. We won the counties by...
What Qatar does is they definitely sponsor terrorism. But when other countries come calling and say, hey, you're really wealthy, we know you're not directly really involved in terrorism, but you sponsor terrorism, they just say, okay, where could we send you money to? Where could we send you a check? So they're invested in all kinds of countries all over the fucking world. They just throw money at it to stay out of being sanctioned or being in trouble. That's what they have, an excess of money.
2,725 to 505. That's why the map is completely red. When you look at it, the map, it was an obliteration, this election. And we got 312 electoral votes, so it was just an obliteration. And that means mandate. And we have a mandate that nobody's had. They said the most consequential election, and this was a enemy paper, the most consequential election in 129 years. So it's been a tremendous trip. I've really liked it. You know, look, this is going, we're going 20 hours a day. And people say, how do you do it? And I said, I do it because I like it. I like it. I like the people I'm dealing with. I said last night, I stood in a line for
Adderall.
I said hello to Larry. I said hello to Kelly. I said hello to your 250 competitors. I said hello to everybody. And that was a long sucker, I want to tell you. They say, how do you do it? I said, I do it because I like the man standing on my left. And I said it 2 nights before about the Crown Prince, but last night I had the Emir, and he's fantastic. And I said, it's really not hard. You know, when you like the people, and when you are doing something, we have a term, MAGA, Make America Great Again, very simple term. And I remember Biden saying, we will not let MAGA take over this country. I said, no, you stupid person. It says, Make America Great Again. It's okay if it takes over the country. It's called Make America Great Again. And that's where we are right now. It's America. We'll put America first. But because we're putting it first, we're doing so well, there's going to be plenty left over to help the world. And we can help the world psychologically. So we think we're going to do well with Russia, Ukraine. 5,000 soldiers are being killed every single week on average. 5,000. And they're not from here, and they're not from the USA. They're from Ukraine and Russia. So some people would say, why are you bothering? Because these are 5,000 young people. Well, they're getting older because they've gone through so many that they are actually getting older. But these are 5,000 people that leave their home, wave goodbye to their parents. Their parents are so proud of them, their sisters, their brothers, and that's the last they ever see them. They're wiped out. And if you would see the satellite pictures, I get satellite pictures of that battlefield, and I want to tell you, I've never seen anything like that. I wish I never saw it. You have heads and arms and legs strewn all over the field. Then you just take a look at that, and, you know, when you think 5,000 a week on average, and that's actually a low number. So we're going to see if we can end that. I was thinking about going, but it's very tough because of what we're doing today and tomorrow. But, you know, if something happened, I'd go on Friday if it was appropriate. But we have people right now negotiating, and I think that I just hope that Russia and Ukraine are able to do something, because it has to stop. Not only the money, we spent $350 billion there. Just hand it. Nobody even knows where the money is. They just send them a check. There's no accounting. There's no one. Just
none of that's true.
Give him money. Every time he came, I have to hand it to him. I think he's the greatest salesman maybe in history. Every time he came to the United States, he'd walk away with $100 billion, you know. That's a good salesman, right? Even by your standards. This is a big standard right here. But that's a pretty good standard. No, he'd walk in, leave with $100 billion. Last time he didn't do as well. He only got $60 billion. And it was so easy. It was like taking candy from a baby. That was the last administration. This administration has been a little bit tougher. But would like to see it end, and I think we're going to have a chance at doing it. And would like to see if we could solve the Iran problem in an intelligent way as opposed to a brutal way. There's only two, intelligent and brutal. Those are the two alternatives. So I want to thank everybody for being here very much, and we're going to take some questions, and perhaps now we'll ask the press to leave, and we're going to see you at the airfield. We're going to have a display of American equipment, okay? Yeah. Jennifer, go ahead.
Did you catch all that, guys? A fucking lunatic, dude. By the way, there was just a video of, I just watched it the other day. Hold on.
I do think that there is a shift in the Trump administration away from Russia toward Ukraine, and Putin is overplaying his hand and playing into that.
There's a clip of Trump somewhere where they're asking him on a plane. He's like, "What envoy? There was no, I don't know anything about an envoy. I'm down here making deals in Saudi Arabia. Russia didn't even show up to the peace talks that they were having.
He is exacerbating that irritation, and that's going to be bad for Putin.
The U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has said he doesn't have high expectations for peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. The comments come after talks between Kiev and Moscow due to start today were postponed, pushed back to Friday, amidst questions and accusations from both sides.
They didn't show up.
But the other's seriousness on peace. Tonight, both have indicated talks will happen in Turkey, though not between Messrs. Putin and Zelensky, as many, including U.S. President Donald Trump, had hoped. So where do we go from here? Let's speak to...
I don't have the clip, but that's fine. Here's the one I definitely want to show you. About Trump lying about these deals. Okay, this is a White House press release. And this guy breaks it down pretty good. This is, I think so, or I think it's called Quick Thoughts on TikTok.
Donald J. Trump secures historic $1.2 trillion economic commitment in Qatar. Also, the GDP of Qatar is $213 billion.
$200 billion, 1.2 trillion. Their entire GDP. Do you think they're going to invest all the money the country, not profit, all the money the country makes for the next 5 years into America?
The value of all the economic output of their country, all the oil, all the things they buy and sell, all the labor of every member of their population for 1 year, that value is $213 billion. So this $1.2 trillion economic commitment represents the total economic output of Qatar, 100% of it, for 6 years. Wow. Deal maker in chief Donald Trump, right? Someone offers to buy your car for $1 billion. They say, just hand me the keys. I want to take a test drive and then I'll give you the $1 billion. Well, maybe you're about to be rich. Congratulations. But maybe the other person doesn't actually have $1 billion and they're going to steal your car. In 2024, U.S. exports to Qatar were $3.8 billion. So this $1.2 trillion deal means that Qatar is going to buy 316 years worth of goods from the United States.
So if they made it up through imports from the United States, from purchases from the United States, it'd take them 316 years to invest $1.2 trillion.
Per this deal. The total value of Qatar Investment Authority, their sovereign wealth fund, is $526 billion. We'll just take all of that times 2 and then some. Thank you, guys. Article in the New York Times recalls that in Trump's first term in 2017, in a visit to Saudi Arabia, he said he secured $450 billion of investments in the United States. And yet the export of American goods and services to Saudi Arabia, while Mr. Trump was in office, 2017 to 2020, totaled $92 billion.
So his first time around, he claimed that he secured $450 billion worth of investments from Saudi Arabia. It ended up being $92 billion. So we went from 450 to $92 billion. And that $92 billion was less money from Saudi Arabia than we made with Obama on his second term. So he promised 450, he gave 92. We had 98 with Obama, and Obama didn't promise anything.
Less than the total during President Barack Obama's second term. Oops. Now, maybe I'm just being cynical here, but I have my doubts that Qatar is actually going to invest $1.2 trillion in the United States. I just doubt that that's actually... No, what am I saying? Donald Trump, art of the deal. Of course, he respects Qatar. They respect him so much that, yeah, I guess they're actually going to do this, right? What do you think? Thanks.
Now he gets some backlash from this video, and so he makes an update video. I have not seen it.
Yesterday, I said that this was unbelievable. Qatar has a GDP of $200 billion. The idea that they're going to make a meaningful economic commitment for 6 times their GDP just struck me as unbelievable. And more people than usual disagreed with me in the comments or sent me DMs expressing disagreement. So I wanted to go over that here and explain why I still agree with me. Comment, hello, it said in Qatar, not only Qatar. Many other rich countries are represented here. No, here's the first sentence. Today in Qatar, President Donald J. Trump signed an agreement with Qatar to generate an economic...
Imagine if tomorrow Trump came out and said that we're going to invest $163.2 trillion in Germany. That would be 6 times our GDP. There's no fucking way. Right? People are bitching about $100 billion in munitions and defense and aid for the war to fucking Ukraine. But we're just going to do $164 trillion to Germany just because.
Economic exchange worth at least $1.2 trillion. President Trump also announced economic deals totaling more than $243 billion. So the deal is with Qatar to generate $1.2 trillion, and then Trump is announcing specific deals totaling $243 billion. The fact sheet does mention Saudi Arabia, but it explicitly differentiates Saudi Arabia from the Qatar deal, saying today's announcement builds on yesterday's $600 billion investment secured in Saudi Arabia. I'm disappointed in this video. I follow you because you present tangible data, and this was just a video of you babbling about your feelings and doubts with no data to prove or disprove. First, you can't prove or disprove anything about an unspecified economic commitment, the details of which haven't been released and is about sometime in the future. You just can't prove anything about that. I think it's implausible that this deal is actually real or meaningful. And to back up my feeling, I showed you the metrics that I have available. So this is 6 times Qatar's GDP, their total annual economic output. If economic commitment is supposed to mean the stuff that they're buying from the United States, well, last year they only bought $4 billion worth of things from the United States. So the idea that they're going to buy 300 times more stuff from the United States just doesn't seem that reasonable, not on any meaningful time frame. And then if you want to say that, oh, actually, this is about investment in the United States, not just the stuff they buy from us. Well, the Bureau of Economic Analysis foreign direct investment position in the United States data set table 8, they don't even have Qatar listed as an individual country with a foreign direct investment position in the United States. But if we just assume that they're all of the other category in the Middle East, then the ultimate beneficial owner that goes to Qatar is only about $4.1 billion in 2023. And this is equity plus...
It would still take them 300 years worth of investment.
Loans. So again, the idea that they're going to 300x their trade or investment in the United States, I just don't think that's real. And you can point out that that's just my feeling, true, but it's my feeling informed by the data that I'm sharing with you. It's not just that I feel Qatar is unlikely to live up to this commitment, it's that the commitment doesn't feel like it's in line with the observable metrics about Qatar. And I want to notice the difference in expectations here. Look at the White House. They didn't release the full text of the agreement. So far as I could tell, I couldn't find it. They didn't explain how this is possible. They didn't explain what an economic commitment...
It's like, I don't even know what he's announcing. What is he even announcing with his deal? Like, what are they investing in? Where's it coming from? Where's it going? Are they building something here? Are they just sending money? Are they buying more stuff? Or what is it?
Is or over what time frame or why they think Qatar will be able to live up to it. So why are you disappointed in my video where I told you what I feel and I showed you the evidence for why I feel that way? Why are you disappointed in my TikTok video, but you're not disappointed in the White House press release about a deal that the President of the United States is signing? One of those things should have a higher bar than the other, and I think you might be mixed up about which one is which. You're usually good, but you missed this one. Look back at the trip. You forgot about the privately wealthy individuals and their commitment to invest in U.S. businesses. As of today, the combined Qatar wealth available to invest is nearly $1 trillion, and the commitment is over 10 years. So no source on this, and no, the commitment doesn't say this. I'll look for your revised assessment. Thanks. Okay, I don't think they're going to liquidate the entire net worth of their sovereign wealth fund.
They're going to liquidate the entire net worth of all their people.
Plus the net worth of all the wealthy individuals of their country just to fulfill this economic commitment. That's my assessment. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to multiply their current investment position in the United States by a factor of 300 over the next 10 years. Several people pointed out stuff like it's not happening in a single year, or if it's a 20 to 30 year agreement, that might make sense. One person said it might be a 60-year agreement. And I agree that all of those things become more and more plausible the further you stretch out the agreement. It's definitely not happening in a single year. I never thought that or suggest that. But it becomes more and more plausible that it could happen if you stretch it out to, say, 60 years. But one, it becomes less meaningful because stuff in the far future is less certain to happen. Two, it becomes less meaningful because the nominal value of the deal will become less meaningful due to inflation. Three, it becomes less meaningful because it's kind of deceptive. Trump says, no, I signed a $1.2 trillion deal over 60 years. That over 60 years part is a huge qualifier that's not well communicated by the White House press release. It's not communicated at all what time frame they're talking about. So I just don't believe this. Which is more likely? Qatar is going to massively increase investment in the United States to honor this economic commitment, or Trump is massively exaggerating. I don't know. Thanks for your time. Yesterday I said that this was unbelievable.
So he's still right. It's still unbelievable. This Qatar deal and many of the things that Trump say, they're just unbelievable. And that's why there's no details. Again, He announced a $450 billion deal with Saudi Arabia the first time he was in office. He didn't give it $100 billion from Saudi Arabia. And it was less than they usually do with the United States. You can't come out and say, Saudi Arabia has agreed to send $450 billion investment in the U.S., and it's less than they usually invest in the U.S. The fuck is that about? There's a couple videos we still didn't get to. There's one I really want to watch. We'll have to do it next time. But it is a guy that is a paraplegic that the cops drag out of his wheelchair, say he's faking it, and accuse him of kicking down a woman's door and fleeing on foot. And they just kind of pull him out of the wheelchair and he crumpled. Wait till you see this. We'll just watch the intro. We cannot watch this. It's like a 30-minute video, and I'm already after 1 o'clock. I need to end now, but watch the intro to this.
You forcefully entered her home and attacked her. You forcefully entered her home and attacked her. Is this a joke?
This woman called the cops
thank God.
and accused a guy of kicking down her door and assaulting her.
So what happened?
He kicked in the door. I ran. He choked me out.
But there was a minor problem with her story. The suspect has been a paraplegic in a wheelchair for 20 plus years.
How long have you been in your wheelchair? Since I was 18. Since you were 18?
5 years. But the arresting officer just didn't care, and he attempted to arrest him anyways.
They think he's faking it, so he won't have to face these crimes he committed.
I literally can't. I don't have muscle control. I'm not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
When another officer stepped in and questioned what was happening,
if you're paralyzed, somebody must have made a mistake. Because if the door was kicked in, he didn't kick it in.
he went to his lieutenant.
Don't mean to interrupt your lunch. They got a quadriplegic guy up there in handcuffs,
who couldn't be bothered to get up off of his chair, but quickly accused the 100% innocent man who was in fact a paraplegic of lying.
Yeah, but it's phony work. It's a ruse, man. So I mean, it's an obvious attempt to not to go to jail. So
yeah, but he is up from the waist below.
I've never seen a case where somebody was so clear.
The deputies are like, no, he is fucked up from the waist below. No, it's a ruse, man. It's a ruse. Apparently, it's his ex-girlfriend that did all this.
Clearly innocent, and it would take so little work to establish it.
And he found out he had a warrant or needed to clear something. He found out something was going on, and he turned himself in. He brought himself to the police station. They read him that warrant and then drag him out of his fucking chair.
But he was willing to do the work.
We'll watch this. Someone remind me where we parked. On the next show, we will be watching this video. Because I've had it keyed up for like 5 shows in a row, and we never got to it, okay? So somebody remember where we parked. I don't like to draw attention to myself by setting off the car alarm in the parking lot. So somebody remember. Thank you guys for joining us. Please consider supporting the show. We could greatly use your support currently until we get some things straightened out. Post-storm, post-Helene, post-destruction of everything that we love and hold dear. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this.
Yeah, I saw it hours ago.
Don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Just him saying 8647 over and over.
I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit.
Yeah, I saw it when he posted it earlier.
Get the place in the best.
Thank you, though.
Stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of
I would love. You guys know how much I love flying my FPV drone. I would love to get a job for the government, even though it sounds fucked up what they're going to be using them for. But just building FPV drones every day and test flying them.
I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst.
And stacking them in a box or some shit.
What's next?
The problem is the best FPV gear is made by DJI, and the federal government doesn't like to fuck with DJI because they're China. We need an American-based FPV, so you need the video transmitter and camera and goggles, receiving unit, all American-made. We just don't have it. Maybe that's what Qatar is investing in. Keytar. Not to be confused with guitar.
I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a
No, there's American-made frames. They cut carbon fiber here.
found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine.
I had a custom frame cut just up the road by Waterjet.
Saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Give me oh my God.
There are some companies trying to do DJI clones, but they're like way expensive. They're like the DJI like photography drones. So they're $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000. Like I think Blue Sky Drones maybe is an all-American. But FPV is just weird.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking, he was doing so well. It's all over, hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They rework and copy on Cox that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit, sending runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience.
We need an American-made
Fuck is in my window with this time.
VTX. I've not even tried. I know DJI came out with the 04 system. I've been broke since it came out. But I do have, all my drones are on the 03 system.
Shit, Will Bird, motherfuckers out here busting the griffs. Here we go, I think I started some
I got the original Avata, the FPV drone, and then 3 FPV drones, that one Whoop, and then like a Cine Whoop, and then 2 FPV drones that are all on the 03 system.
It's about to get lit, get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none.
Have a good night, guys.
Those guts, because you're a pussy. You're a pussy wearing aviator glasses in your mother's basement, and I won't even give out your dime store handle because that's really pathetic.